Welcome to the left side of my face. I don't think you've ever seen it before. And I'm not driving a Woody. I'm driving a car on the right side of the road, and I'm driving on the left side of the road. What could that mean? We're barn find hunting for the first time in the UK. So we're on our way to our first stop. I've been here for a couple days, and I've done some searching, scouting to see what I can find. So when the crew got here, we wouldn't waste any time, because it's harder to find cars in England than it is in the States. People keep those things hidden. But this guy we're going to visit now, Pete, doesn't keep his cars hidden. They're kind of out in the road. So the Z car is just, you know, it's just there. Oh boy, I'm trying to extract myself out of here. I met Pete the other day. Hello, Pete.
Hi, Tom.
Well, I made it back.
You did indeed, just before it starts to rain by the look of it.
So
good old English weather.
So, you know, it's hard to find barn find cars in Europe unless you have a friend. And my friend Bernie, who you meet eventually on this trip, said, I know where there's a clapped out 240Z with a Pro Stock hood on it. And he drove me by here the other day, and well, there it is. And so Pete's the owner, and he's got several actually interesting cars. Pete, thank you.
You're welcome.
So tell me the story about this clapped out Z car here.
Well, the clapped out Z car, it started life as a 260Z plus 2. And I had it when I was about 18. And bearing in mind I'm now 57, so I've had it a very, very long time. The story starts off that me and my friends were all into cars, and I had at the time before this a little GT6.
You've always been a car guy?
Always, ever since I was that big. Used to sleep with my corgi cars and stuff. They always had to go under the pillow. I couldn't go to bed.
I still do.
And a mate of mine, he begged me to sell him the GT6. Now I don't know if you guys know, that's a Triumph,
the
2 litre like hard top, and it was beautiful, Mark II, which is a very rare one. Anyway, cutting a long story short, I sold it to him, and the 260 came up, and I bought it.
And it was a stock car?
Just a stock.
So
and
six-cylinder?
Six-cylinder, the slowest thing on 4 wheels. They looked absolutely fantastic. I mean, when you're going back to the early 80s, a 5-speed manual, 2.6 litre, you would have think this thing would have flown. And it was like a, you know, like a pigeon with no wings. It was terrible. I found a guy on, well, it wasn't online in those days, through some friends who was an engine builder, and his name was Hippie Paul. And he said, yep, I can build you an engine and a gearbox for this, and we'll go from there. And that's how it started. So this originally had a 327 small block in it with early fuelie heads. It was bored out plus 30, so it was about 331 cubes, and it had, I suppose like a dual quad carters on it, which were 800 CFMs. They were useless.
And this is a street car?
This was a street car. And it had a mad cam in it as well. You know, it was undrivable. I mean, the brakes were never up to anything.
There's no engine now?
No, the engine's actually at AC Automotive. It's in his garage. But you can still see it's got a TH350 box.
So you put an automatic in it? Yeah.
Yeah, and they're the headers, which I actually imported, but of course, I imported them for a 260Z, but never thought about the fact that this is right-hand drive, and they were for a left-hand drive. So we had to cut them and modify them. Mm-hmm. But it was all done. This thing was lunatic.
Was it cool looking in the day?
Oh, it was fantastic. Oh, I had a spoiler. Now, there's the thing, Superbird spoiler.
Did you really?
Had to have a Superbird spoiler.
So it was up here somewhere?
No, it was up here somewhere. And it was made out of wood, because I knew a guy had like a joinery place. So I told him what I wanted. It went through about here on both sides. It was about that thick, and it stood up to about here. And everybody used to take the piss out of it, and they used to say it's a tea tray or a tea trolley that you just put your beers on it. And, you know, it was never good enough to be a daily driver. It was insane. I mean, you couldn't keep it in a straight line. And I crashed it a few times. I crashed it because it didn't have an isolator on the gearbox. So if you started it up and you hadn't put it in park or into neutral, it just took off.
Wow.
When I used to live with my mum and dad, bless them, we had a big house out in the sticks and had a huge double garage with these beautiful up and over wooden door. And I started it up one morning and I smashed straight through the door.
You got two other cars out here that attracted my attention. Well, this Mercedes, I think, is a significant car.
It is, and it's still restorable. There's nothing really much wrong with it other than the fact it's got a bit of moss growing on it. This actually is an AMG Mercedes.
It is.
It's a genuine AMG. It was, but at the time these were done, AMG was a separate factory. They'd send the parts over. So it's had lowered suspension. It's got the P1 alloys, which are, these are the raised centre ones, which are quite unusual. But it also came, the reason I really bought it was it's got what is known as an Albrecht, that's the company supercharger.
So it's a blown Mercedes?
It's a blown Mercedes.
Jeez. Is that a 5 litre?
It's a 5, this is a 500 SEC.
So there's a supercharger right over here.
That's the supercharger. I mean, the bits, basically, it's actually quite a good setup. That fits over the top of the...
Yeah.
And it goes in like that.
Yep. So you use this car?
I did use it when I first had it, when I first bought it. But again, it needed work doing to it, and it's just sort of ended up just being left out, and I haven't done anything with it. But it was a lovely car, and it was extremely fast. Back in the day, it would have been I don't know if you know what yuppies are.
Yuppies?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
Well, this was a yuppie car. It was owned by a guy. I can't remember exactly what his name, because I actually spoke to him, but I tried to do some research on the car, and I found Tony something double barreled, and he was and this is going back to when I first bought it, and I phoned him up. Oh, hi. That was how he spoke, proper city, you know. And he said, yeah. I said, I had a load of those back in the 80s. He said, the signal might go on my phone at the moment because I'm on my yacht. This is not a lie for the cameras, this is true. Wow. So I said to him, do you remember the one with the blower on it? Oh, yeah. Yeah, that went, I think it went to Pete Jarvis Sports Cars or something like that, who now do racing cars, but they did the conversion with the blower on it. It was very interesting. It was very funny listening. I wish I had something to be able to record him, because he was perfect, you know.
Well, you're pretty perfect too, you know. We're just a bunch of Yanks.
Of course.
So,
from the colonies.
Yes. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. But you do make some decent cars.
So this is an unusual Jaguar.
This is a very unusual Jaguar. Jaguar.
Okay, I get it.
That's not Jaguar, Jaguar.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how you say it in England anyway.
All right, let me ask you this.
Yeah, go on.
I say aluminum.
Aluminium. See? Aluminium.
So you know I figured out how I get away with it? I just say alloy, and
that's
we're all friends.
That's it, it's good. We don't mind, I like Americanisms, I think they're great.
So why is this unusual?
This is an actual TWR, which stands for Tom Walkinshaw Racing. And they were a little factory up in Nuneaton who originally used to do the racing versions of the Jag cars. But they never made any road cars, they just converted cars for actual, you know, track racing, what have you. But they decided that they would do a run of cars for Jaguar. And this is one, apparently, I spoke to the guy that actually did all these cars, and he said they only made 36 of these actual TWR.
So was Tom Walkinshaw like Carroll Shelby was to Ford?
Yeah, but this was apparently made in their factory, and they all apparently were the same colour. They were all cobalt blue with the red stripe, and the undercolour is strata silver, which is a full paint colour. And that's how you do know. And also, although the sail panel's missing on this side, if you look on the wheel trims, it says TWR on the caps.
Okay, yeah.
And on the body panels, like, it's embossed into the actual the fiberglass.
Yep. So that's a 6 litre.
5.3. It's the original, the original V12. If you look at the seats, the one that you were driving before has got these same seats. These are actually the seats that TWR would have put in.
How long have you had this car?
Since about 02, I think I must have bought this.
02, so 18 years ago.
Yeah, it was actually, let's try and lift this up. It belonged to a friend of mine's dad. He wasn't much of a car guy, but he got persuaded to buy this car by a friend of his. But he liked, horses were his passion. And so this used to get parked a lot of times in a field, and unfortunately it suffered, and the last time it went for an MOT it failed because the underbody was just completely rotted.
It is really. So this is beyond restoration?
No, this one is still restorable. I have so many people, a bit like yourselves, who come round and knock on my door, is it for sale? And I say, yeah, it's for sale, make me a sensible offer. And then they say, well, 700 quid. And I said, you've got to be joking. I said, the wheels are worth more than 700 quid. The last one that came up for sale went for about £22,000. So bearing in mind, you'd have to probably spend about 15 on it, I would think, realistically, to get it to you know, back to some sort of semblance of condition. I suppose 2,000 or 3,000 is probably worth.
So this is kind of a cousin to that car, I guess.
This is the daddy of that. This is a 560 SEC, which is the top of the range, and it is fully loaded. I bought this car back in about 2013, and I paid just, I think, £3,500 for it, which at the time was probably, it was mint.
Oh, really? What colour was it?
It was this is the original colour. This is how it was, but not with the wide body conversion.
So the wide body, it took the fender that far out.
Yeah, but an original wide body actually comes out to about here. But if you look at them, they really look what we would call, we term here as a boy racer. They look really
obnoxious.
Just obnoxious, and too much. Too much. So my bodywork guy, he put it all on, and it just was crap. It was useless, and it just, the fiberglass wasn't very well done, and it just kept cracking. And so he said, look, he said, I wish I'd have known what you wanted in the first place. He said, because we would make this out of metal. So I went back to him, and he didn't charge me to do this.
Whoa.
And so it's quite amazing. The actual arches, these lips, are the original ones. If you look at the green one, they are exactly the same, because we cut them. When he took the wing off originally, he kept all the bits, and as well with the front wings. So these tyres, I've got almost 1.5 inch spacers behind them, and they're 265s on here, and they just were lost. 18-inch wheels with 265, you know, tyres, even with the spacers bringing them out. They were lost. You could have put 28-inch wheels in there. It just was humongous, and it looked stupid. So he said to me, what we'll do, he said, we'll make the arches, but we'll make them to fit the wheels. And so this is how he created it.
So are you pleased with the results?
Oh, it's fantastic. Well, the first time I took this to the Mercedes Owners Club meeting, the people were looking at it, and these guys said to me, is it standard? He said, because it just looks so standard. And I said, no, it's not. He said, it's just incredibly well done.
What are we looking at here?
Well, this here I bought from the States in 2014. Well, it was actually over in Canada.
Really?
So if we roll it back, we'll take this, take it off.
Indy pace car.
Yep. This is one of 1,555 cars which were made that year.
Okay, well, I just got to remind you, we're in England right now. And this looks like it could be in Cleveland, Ohio.
I hunted around, and I found this, well, it's actually it was Uffring Chevrolet, which is in New York State, I think, somewhere like that. And I saw it on the American eBay site, and they wanted, I think it was $25,000 or something, $22,000. And I'd hunted around, it's done 10,086 miles.
So that's never been restored?
No.
10,000 mile car.
It's the only bit, there is some paintwork that's been done. I think the nose cone and the rear bumper have been repainted at some stage, but the rest of it is as is.
So is this an 89 car?
Yeah. This is an actual.
Look at it's perfect. I mean, looking at your Z car, I never imagined this would be in the garage.
No, it's absolutely pucker, as we like to say. It's perfect.
Pucker, huh?
It's pucker. Yeah, it's the only thing that it suffers from is what all these Trans Am suffer from: the spoiler splits.
Is that right?
They all do it. They all split.
Is this one split over here?
No, because that was replaced, and that's a fiberglass one.
Okay. And what is this?
This is whatever the rubber composite that it was made from originally. Anywhere where it's not a dry state car, this is what happens to them. They've got a metal piece inside it, and it rusts, and it forces the plastic out, and it just breaks it. And it looked like it has been repaired already before I got it, because here it's like lumps in it, which look like it's been repaired.
I see.
But other than that, the car is...
No, this thing is beautiful. Man. Pete, it's been a ball, man.
It's been fantastic. It's just nice to see that there are still car guys alive and well and not wanting to buy electric cars.
Bloody happy hunting. We're on our way now to Richard's house. And Richard has a car that his father bought new in 1951, sitting in his front driveway. It's one family ownership from new, 1951. Here we go. Go right in here. And Richard's a gentleman who was fortunate enough to have inherited an Allard, very unusual, kind of an Anglo-Saxon car, hybrid, American drivetrain, and British chassis. Yes.
I don't know what you want to do, but it might be an idea. Who's that? Hey! you might want to stick it over there and put the van in there.
Oh, where are they? Behind us?
No, they're over there. I'll redirect, but they'll get a ticket over there.
Will they?
Yeah. They're right effing bastards right there.
All right. You know, we were on time until the last 2 miles.
Yes, that's okay. I know what you Yanks are like.
That's Bernie. We're kind of in the heart of London now. We've been in the outskirts for much of the day. And here we are at the home of Richard Price. Richard has an amazing car underneath this tarp right over here that he's going to tell us about. So Richard, what is this car?
It's a 1951 P1 Allard.
Allard?
Yeah.
And you've had it for how long?
About 30 years, 25 years.
And who had it before that?
My father.
Your father?
He bought it new.
In 51?
In 1951. Did all his courting in it. I wasn't born till 54.
So did you have something to do with that car?
Well, my father reckons I was conceived in it, but he reckoned it was the front seat. My mother reckoned it was the back seat, and I reckoned it was on the bonnet.
Can we unwrap it and show these people what it looks like?
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Look at that. So tell us what's significant about an Allard P1.
They're a bitzer. So unlike a Jaguar where you've got, real Jaguar parts and all the rest of it, this is bits of this, bits of that. So originally it had a big Ford engine in it, V8 21 stud. And subsequently to that, I've changed it a few times because they kept breaking.
Wow. So I know a little bit about these because they're related to Fords, and I'm a Ford enthusiast. Sidney Allard was a drag racer who then built sports cars and rally cars. And I believe the P1, didn't it win the Monte-Carlo Rallye?
Yeah, he won a lot of races, but he'd never done the Monte-Carlo. And in order to qualify for the Monte-Carlo, you have to have a production car, so you have to have 500 of them, minimum. Yeah. So I think he made about 502 or 505 or whatever it is. You can get the actual numbers from the owners' club. And he set off with 3 cars from Sweden and 3 cars from somewhere, and they won it in 1951.
So Sidney Allard purchased lots of parts from Ford, and in one odd, controversial part, Ford had a straight front axle. Not really straight, but it was a solid front axle. And he cut it and hinged it in the middle. So it would have independent front suspension, which in theory worked well, except on a racetrack where it kind of cambered over, and like a Corvair does in the back, this did in the front, or not this one, the sports car version, the road racing, and lots of drivers crashed those things and broke their necks because of that strange cambering in the front end. And these came with flathead Ford V8s, and then later on, other models of his car came with a Cadillac engine.
Yes.
And these became quite competent road racers in the States as well, at places like Watkins Glen and out in Pebble Beach, California, where they raced the cut down version of this, which is the J2. But this is this could be a little family sedan, I suppose.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Now is this steel or aluminum?
Good point. It was aluminium. It's aluminium on a.
Is it aluminium or aluminum?
Good question. Aluminium. We're in London.
Alloy.
Alloy. But it's on an ash frame, and so it's all wood frame.
Wooden frame.
So hence it can live out here because I'm not too bothered about the rust.
Yeah.
And if I put it in my garage in Reading, I'd never drive it at all because it's too far to go. So keeping it here,
Yep.
at least through the summer, means I can just go, well, I think I'll go for a drive.
So is this a Sunday morning drive car?
Yeah, well, any day car.
Okay. Can we look at the engine?
Yeah, sure. It does hold up a bit, but to be safe so you don't bang your head, I stick a bit of wood in. That's it, just drop it down on there.
Right there, okay.
Yeah.
So this looks to be a 1951, 52, 53 flathead Ford. If it were in the States, I'm not sure.
I think it's slightly later than that. Ford stopped making engines in Europe in 1965, I believe.
Okay, they probably did.
So
in the States, it was 53 was
yeah,
the
yeah,
last.
yeah.
So that's probably a European block then.
I think so, yes.
Because I'm seeing markings on there I've not seen before.
Yes.
Huh. This paint looks very fresh. How long ago was this painted?
About 20 years ago. It was all the old paint. It's the same colour as the original.
Yeah. The interior is original?
Yes. Yes, very original.
So it's got a column shifter, a 3-speed on the column?
3-speed on the column.
And it's odd because in the United States we have a right-hand 3 on the column. Here we have a left-hand 3 on the column. So we have Bernie here somewhere. He's going to help us start it. I think he brought some...
Oh no, it'll start with a brand new battery. It'll fire up.
It will?
Yeah.
Let's fire it up.
Yeah, it'll take a bit of time because it's you have to watch. I mean,
all right. He's got some ether you can spray in.
Okay, so what we do now is to bit this. That's what the problem is. It's got no pressure on it. There we go.
Is it a primer?
Yeah, just primes the pump.
Yeah. I never saw that.
Richard,
Yeah.
hang on a sec. You get
It's just
inside.
priming the pump on it.
Yeah. You go inside.
All right, pump.
Okay, give it a start.
Okay.
Go on.
That's nearly.
Yeah, it's running on the ether, not the fuel.
I'll do the throttle. You go on.
Okay.
No, she's not going to start. Well, it was worth it, an effort.
She's not going to start for the camera because you'll leave. I'll come out here tomorrow morning and she'll fire first time.
Camera shy, yeah. This car was built to run in the Monte-Carlo Rallye, and I walked in Richard's house, and here were Monte-Carlo Rallye plaques, and the cars would run with these on the front, and that would qualify. That would show that the car was in the rally. It showed the general public, other cars on the road that this was in the rally, and you could legally go fast on public roads. Tell me how you came across these.
Well, this was my stepfather. He had a garage down in Newbury, and he rallied 1.5 Rileys, I think, and he did the Monte-Carlo both years and finished it, which is quite impressive. The middle badge there is very, very unusual. It's very rare. The plates you can find, but the badge in the middle that's very difficult to find.
Wow. So it's interesting that these plates are from his stepdad, 1953, 1954. Did this one 52 or 51?
52, I think. 52. I think it was 52.
It's ironic that these were just 1 year before a version of this, not this exact car, won the Monte-Carlo Rallye, which was over the Alps.
Yes,
right?
yeah.
I mean, just an amazing feat.
There's my father, and that's me when I was a
Look at that.
bambino, and there's the car.
And so see, the slats are all in the grill at that
Yeah,
point.
yeah.
And so there you are, getting in the passenger door, and that's your dad.
Yeah.
Well, Richard, you've got an amazing piece of history here, and I hope it stays in your family for... Where does it go next? Is there another generation?
I've got nephews. I don't have any children myself, but I've got nephews who live in Vancouver, actually. Yeah, so I'm waiting for one of them. They're getting to 16, 17, thereabouts. And I'm waiting for one of them to
Express
show
interest?
an interest in,
And you'd ship it over?
in cars. That, well, he will do with it what he will.
Ah, I get it.
But not yet, not yet. My car.
I understand. Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you so much, Richard.
welcome.
Happy hunting, I said. Old B. Let's
the guy on the yacht, though.
Okay,
Oh,
would you do
yeah.
that? Happy hunting?
Oh, happy hunting, I said, old thing. Jolly good. Just been out on the old yacht.
Oh boy.